Welcome to Film on Tape, a free audio library for creatives in film and television. My name is Misha Calvert, and I've worked as an actor, writer, director, and producer for many decades. I had so many questions when I was first getting started in New York, and I just wanted fast, free answers. That is what this library is for. The work that you do as a creative is so important. I really hope that this library is going to help get your work out there. Film on Tape is sponsored by Vermilion, a coaching and educational company for creatives. You can learn more at clubvermilion.com. Last week we covered how to make casting love you and looked at what a day in the life of a casting director might look like, some of the things that they might be dealing with. And this week I'm going to give you the top 10 things that when I'm casting something that I love to see in an actor. And the top 10 things that I really don't like to see in casting. So these are kind of companion episodes, and there was just so much information in last week's episode that I wanted to break it up so you could fully digest some of the framings and different ways of looking at poor casting directors and what they have to deal with. And then this week, very practical advice and two very practical lists of what to do and what not to do when interacting with casting directors. And now, of course, I do have a lot of experience casting my own work. I've also worked with casting directors, hired them to cast my films, working with one right now on a film that I'm directing. So that's the point of view that I'm employing when I'm having these conversations with you. And, I've been doing this 20 years. 20 years ago, my first job in New York was working at Tulsa Casting as an intern, a full-time 40-plus hour a week intern. So my thoughts on this, they've had a long time to bake in the oven, and they're pretty strong at this point. But the lists that I'm going to give you today are extremely personal to me and extremely unique to me. I'm not saying that everyone feels like this, although I know for a fact that many casting directors have said these same things that I'm about to say to you right now. All right, let's get into these lists. The top 10 things that I love to see in an actor when they walk into audition for me. Number one, they have no visible insecurity. They are executing the material in a friendly, relaxed, confident way, but they're also extremely focused when I call action. Now, the reason is when an actor walks in, I am full focus on the material, on who they are, on their energy, and on what they're going to bring as an actor with their craft. And if they're insecure, or if they're checked out, or they're not really paying attention, that takes away from my experience of their work. I don't want to be thinking about their insecurity. I want to be thinking about the job that they're going to do. I want to be full, like I'm in a theater, eating popcorn, just so mesmerized by what they're doing. I want to go all in on what they have prepared, and I don't want to even think about any of the doubts or negative voices that might be coming up for them. Is it natural to have doubts and insecurities? Yeah, of course. I'm an artist. I fully understand that. But that's why I say visible insecurity. So you could be feeling afraid or anxious or sweating through your shirt, whatever. But I don't want to see, your emotional state coming through on your face or your body. It's fine if I see you sweating. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're letting it affect your performance, that's going to get in the way of me and your performance. The second thing that I love in an actor is range, especially between takes. If you're able to show me from take 1 to take 2, sometimes take 3 or 4 in an audition, that you can do a lot of different things with the same material, that's going to show me that you've prepared it what I would call correctly, where you're not setting delivery when you're working on it at home and you're prepping the scene to take it in. You are only setting the given circumstances, and there's no one right way to do it. There's not even your one right way to do it. You might have preferences, but anytime an actor sort of gives me very slight variations on the same exact read is because they've decided that there's only one right way to do it. Who says it's right? Who says it's right? Who says it's wrong? God? Martin Scorsese? who is dictating right or wrong? There is no right or wrong. And what so many casting directors will tell you again and again, not even the director knows what they're looking for. Now, I'm pretty specific, and sometimes I do have a very specific idea of what I'm looking for, but I'm also open to being wrong. I don't necessarily know that there's a right or a wrong way. I might have a clear idea, but someone walks in and they show me something that blows my idea of how it should be done away. It just blows it away because they're dialed into their truth. And usually the full truth of a talented and committed performer is going to outdo anything that I have in my imagination. Because my imagination's a brain, you know? It's like an organ in my skull. And an actor is a real, fully dimensional, whole human being with the full faculties and full emotion. So I always prefer somebody show me a beautiful three-dimensional performance that can supersede any idea I might have of, quote, how it should be played. And that's even speaking as a writer-director. I am so excited to tell you that I'm launching a brand new slate of classes that are incredibly helpful on my website. Some of the classes include on-camera acting technique and how to self-produce your own film, actor self-care, which is something that nobody talks about, and how to write a feature film in 10 days, which I'm going to teach you how I did it and how you can do it too. And believe me when I say I poured my heart into these courses. Go to clubvermillion.com. I am so excited about this website. I can't wait to work with you. All right, number 3 thing that I love to see is if an actor can show excitement and interest in the material, either verbally or non-verbally. You don't need to be like, oh my God, I love this script. It's just brilliant. You're brilliant. You're amazing. You're perfect. Like, they don't need to get all like, you know, really obsequious about it or flooding me with compliments. It can be nonverbal, like as long as it's authentic. If they're like doing the scene or about to do the scene, they're like, oh, yeah, this is really funny. Like, it could be literally muttering to themselves or just a little chuckle. But if I can see, if they allow me to see that they're enjoying the material, that makes me feel like, oh, good, okay, this actor is the right audience for this show or this film. If they would watch this show, then that makes me trust more that they're going to get it and that they might get the pages that they haven't read and that I won't need to explain it to them. If they love this material, that makes me feel more like they belong in this world. Now, that may or may not be true, but it just, you know, it's a human reaction that I have. And especially if I'm the writer and they, you know, they love the writing, I'm like, oh, yeah, you get it, right? It's natural. Number 4, I love it when people make me laugh. I do. I love laughing, and I love when someone can actually surprise me. I might have a surprise fetish where if someone can just like genuinely like to startle me with a joke that I didn't expect to hit me in whatever setting, like, great. I love that. And especially, I really love if someone's funnier than me. I just love it. I love it so much. I just want to like surround myself with those people like they're stuffed animals and just like my little safety bubble of funny people. So I try and keep actors around that I know are funnier than me and that I can like, sometimes I actually write material for them because I just think it's such a gift to be able to make people genuinely laugh. Number 5 thing that I love to see in an audition is when an actor uplifts the room. So when they're emotionally or energetically generous. And when they come in and they feel more like a friend or an equal and they're just giving. They're giving of themselves. They don't need anything in return. They're just there to do incredible work and like give to the room and then leave. And then that's it. Like, they're on with their life. We're not interacting anymore after that. I find that that's rare for an actor to be truly generous in the room and then leave and it's over. Usually it's like, not that. But it really stands out when someone can do that. Number 6, I love it when an actor's on time prepared. On time, prepared. That's it. I don't need to say more, right? On time and prepared for the audition. Number 7, if someone can pull off what feels like a one-person show. So, yeah, there's a reader. Like, it's not a monologue. There's a scene, right? They're listening to the reader, all that's happening, but they don't need anything else to be complete. They've figured out how they want to do their business, on screen or off. They've got any props that they might need. Their costume is where they want it to be. The hair makeup is where they want it to be if they're doing that. And imagination-wise, they've built the room. Everything is constructed. It's like a little one-person show that I can watch, like a film without any of the production value. And that's really comforting to me because it shows me that they know what they're doing and they understand the material and they've taken care of everything. I don't need to worry about anything being missing. It's all there for me. Number 8, I love it when someone has clearly read or researched enough to be able to effortlessly land in the world of this show or this film. When they just get it. They either know the material ahead of time or they ask to read the full script so they get it. I don't need to explain it. It's like almost if you haven't done that research, no amount of explaining in the room, like on the day, will be enough to tell someone about this world. Like you kind of either need to have done the research already or not. Number 9, if they've seen any of my previous work and they're complimentary, I really like it. Again, I'm a human being. And as a writer-director, an indie writer-director, like most people have not seen my work. So if you take the time to watch, one episode of All Hail Beth, 10 minutes, or an episode of Strut, 3 minutes, before you come in to audition for me, then those are both free to watch. I'm really touched. And if you I can tell that you genuinely liked it. You're not just blowing smoke, right? Like you watched it and you liked it. That means so much to me. And it also shows me that you're likely to resonate with this material, whatever I'm casting. Because if you like my previous work with my voice, you're probably going to like my voice as it is translated into this current project. So I think of it as like a sign of good creative chemistry. And I also just, on a very human level, I like when people like my work. So number 10 thing that I love is when an actor's off book. Now, if you are B-list or above, you don't really need to be off book. I mean, it would be great. It's a sign of respect. But I think very few A-listers get off book when they audition, if they even are auditioning. If you're still rising up through the ranks of acting and auditioning, you need to be off book. Why? Because you just haven't really arrived yet to be able to throw your weight around like that. Like, people aren't necessarily going to trust that you are going to be a professional when you get on set. Why? Because they don't know you. And you haven't established that you're able to deliver as a professional. So getting off book is a sign that you are going to be a professional on the day. Because I've hired people who, they were like kind of shaky in the audition on their lines. And then they got to set and they weren't off book. And it was disruptive when we were filming. I saw this thing with Tom Holland the other day where he would memorize his lines during his makeup for, I think it was Spider-Man. And that would be like the only time that he would spend memorizing. But he's also incredibly fast at memorizing. And he wanted a freshness to the line. So he didn't want to overthink it. That's kind of a different story. And again, he's A-list. And he can deliver on the day. And he is extremely reliable to deliver being off book when it comes time to say action. If you are not A-list, I just think it's really better to be off book. Not just for your own sake, but to communicate to the people around you that you are going to be able to be trusted. Okay. Let's talk about the things that I don't like in auditions. Things that just kind of irk me or that are, I would say, red flags in an actor. So, top 10 things that annoy me when I am casting a film or episodic program. Okay, number 1 thing that I don't like to see is when an actor is seeking validation from me. When they walk in and they're just trying to get me to tell them that they've done a good job or that, I don't know, that they're a good actor, that they're a good person, that they have permission to exist. All kinds of weird things happen in auditions, and they can be very high stakes. They can bring out really the most anxious in a person. So I don't want to have to validate you as an artist or as a human or, anything, really. I just want to sit back and enjoy the very fine work that you're about to do. And that should be a generous process from you to me. I have my own form of generosity. Sometimes I have the energy to be complimentary or like verbal or exchange emotion with an actor. But look, 100, 150 actors in a day, many times I don't have that energy. So there's literally nothing in the tank. So anyway, subconsciously asking the casting director for validation is just, it's not something that I would recommend. And if you can skirt away from that habit as much as possible, I think you're going to have a much better experience in your auditions. Number 2 thing not to do in an audition or with a casting director is be demanding or entitled. I have a list of actors that I will never work with. And when someone is demanding or entitled, I add them to that list. Or if they're just hostile, like I remember over the years there have been actors who have gotten mad at me for something that, I don't remember ever doing something that merited a hostile reaction from an actor. But I've gotten them. Hostility, name-calling, harassment, these are all things that they're a hard no. You got to be professional. Even if somebody does something that really upset you, like I've gotten screwed over for sure, not from actors, but it's business and show business, right? Things happen, situations come up. I've gotten screwed over, and I've never been hostile to somebody who owed me money or owed me a job or whatever. It just doesn't work. And it won't work for you as an actor to be demanding, entitled, or hostile either, ever. Just don't do it. Number 3 thing that I really don't like is when your materials do not work, like the links are broken. You send me a link that's broken or a file that's corrupted, a picture that won't open, or you don't attach the thing that you say you're going to attach. Not only are you not solving a problem that I have, you're making a problem. What's the problem? Well, now my time's been wasted and I can't get it back. I already work 12 hours a day, and many casting directors do as well. So even a minute of wasted time is a big deal because I can do a lot in a minute. And if that minute is like a time sink that goes nowhere, it's really annoying. So try not to do that. Double, triple check your links and your attachments so that you make sure that that doesn't ever happen. Also that your email is matching the name of the person. Like you don't want to email Janice at, and then you write, Dear John. Just like little things like that. Take the time. Number 4 thing to avoid is making it weird. Please don't make it weird. Don't ask me to engage emotionally or do emotional labor in an audition. It can take the shape of over-apologizing, trauma dumping, obsessive fangirling on me or my work, demanding answers to questions, like grilling me. You think you're connecting by asking me questions. It just feels like I'm being interrogated. Lingering too long in the room. Or leaving too soon, like if I ask you to stick around and you just suddenly vanish, like maybe I wanted you to read for something more and you just go because you're so nervous, like you didn't even hear me say it or something. And what that does is leaves me feeling weird, or like maybe I've done something wrong, or just uncomfy. And people don't remember what you did or what you said. They remember how you made them feel. So really try to just not make weird energy in the room when you're having this. It should be a professional experience, like very cut and dry, straightforward. Do the material, you're friendly, you're polite, and then you get out. Needless to say, don't jerk off in the audition, punch a wall, or get naked unless it is explicitly an audition with nudity and everyone's on the same page. And I mean, I've never had a nude audition, but I've heard of them, and I've heard situations where it was like somehow okay. I don't think I would ever require that of an actor. But anyway, don't unsolicited do any of those 3 things. And I've heard and seen of all of them. Just thinking of the actor that jerked off in an audition. Anyway, number 5. When you are trying to interface with casting, monthly updates are too much. They just are. There's no way that you have enough going on that's like that fascinating that you need to be telling someone about it monthly. I don't even think I send monthly emails. Now, it's different if you're on a mailing list and you're like, somebody's like a writer, or they have a Substack or something like that. I'm talking about actors trying to be remembered by casting directors. Monthly is too much. I think even quarterly is too much, personally. Like, I will remember you if you email me once a year. Once a year, and I'm going to remember you. I'm going to remember you if you've emailed me 5 years ago. Because I and most casting directors have a very good memory. But what happens if you start doing it monthly is mark you as spam. Sorry. I know it's not great to do that because then I miss all your emails. But yeah, that's just realistically what's probably going to happen. And you don't want that. So I think twice a year is great. Once a year is fine. But once a month is a no. Number 6. If you cannot take a note in the audition, that's not great. Take the note, take it and work it in, be listening. Please don't argue with the note. Don't argue with the casting director. You never know if they really mean it or if they're trying to just see something new and playful because you nailed it the first time. So never, ever argue with a note. Just take it as a creative challenge and see what happens. Number 7. If you're going to send in 2 takes, please do not make them identical. I would say 80% of the time when someone sends 2 takes, they are almost identical. 80% of the time. That's crazy to me because you have the opportunity to do something like really inventive and wild and cool. And you do something the exact same. If I'm sending it on to somebody, I'm only going to send 1 take. I'm not going to send the second because it's too similar. So really try and make like your first one your favorite. And then your second one, another also good version of the scene that is maybe wildly different. Number 8, don't be late and don't be a no-show. I know that sounds crazy, but it happens all the time. People get audition appointments and then they don't show up for them without any explanation or communication. And it's just a really bad look. So try not to do that, please. Number 9, social media etiquette. Please, please, please do not attempt to follow me repeatedly, trying to get me to follow you back. Or like a LinkedIn request and you just keep sending it, you keep requesting. If I haven't accepted it, I probably am not interested. Once every couple months, somebody will just like hit follow and follow and follow, trying to get me to see them, and I just don't want to follow them back until I do. And then I do. So yeah, that's kind of a weird behavior to exhibit. I would say, please don't do that. And then finally, not being off book. Ooh, I already spoke about this, but it's so important. I said it twice. If someone is just crazy going up on their lines, it takes me out of the performance. It's not even necessarily that I think that they're not professional, but like you literally have your script in your hand, or you should. You can read off the page, or you can like grab the line and up, right? You don't have to have it like glued to your face, but people either forget that the script can be in their hand, or they think that they are above learning the lines, or just try your very, very best to be off book. I don't so much care if you mess up the lines a little bit, or if you have to paraphrase, like that's totally fine to make it through, right? Like I get it, there's nerves. But the people who don't try at all to memorize, that's kind of a red flag. So I just think out of respect for the team that's in the room, you want to try and be off book, and it's going to help you to focus more on the performance anyway. Okay, these have been very fun to go through and to make this list. And of course, this is very personal to me, so there's things that are on this list that other casting directors might not care about, and there's things that they might care about that it doesn't really matter to me. So this is my personal list. I hope it's helpful to you, and I hope it's shed some light on just how you might want to rethink your auditioning process or new things to add into the mix as you're preparing for your auditions, because hopefully you're auditioning a lot. And if you're working with Vermilion, you probably are auditioning a lot. I have one client who, once we started working the strategies that I use, she went from no auditions to, I'm not kidding, 10 auditions a week. She just told me yesterday, 10 auditions a week. And you better believe she's already integrated a lot of these 2 lists that I've just given you. She was already pretty good about how she presented herself in auditions, but now she's like, chef's kiss. So if you want to discuss more with me on how to get to 10 auditions a week yourself, you can always book a free call with me, and I will be so happy to discuss. Thanks so much for listening. This has been really fun, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to Film on Tape. If you like the way that I approach the industry, check out our other classes, consulting, and mentorship at clubvermilion.com. Vermilion is a home for artists and those looking to expand creatively. Whether you're an actor, a film professional, an entrepreneur, or a CEO, we'll help you find your voice and hone your skills to thrive in any market at any scale. You can schedule a free phone consultation at clubvermilion.com.